Hi, I'm Lou, another episode of My Car Story. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the 100th running of the Indianapolis race. And today, we've got a great car that we're going to show you, the Wonder Bread Special. And I'm with Pat. Pat, what's your last name?
Patrick Phinny.
Patrick Phinny and Wally Dallenbach, Indy race car driver himself. Let me grab the camera and tell you why that's going to be important, because Wally, are you going to drive this car this weekend, correct?
Yes, we're excited about that, and we came here as a rookie in '67, so it's come a long way since then.
A little ways.
Yeah.
My son's 11. Give us some highlights of your career.
Well, I have two sons that are involved in racing, Wally Dallenbach Jr., and it's like apples falling from the tree. You don't get too far. So if you're around racing, you fall in love with it, and it never leaves you.
And tell me some of the cars you enjoyed and some of the things that you were racing.
Well, I first led the Speedway in a car called the Dan Gurney built Eagle. It was a '66 Eagle.
Yeah.
And our sponsor was the Sprite Special 22 car. And I first led the race here, I think it was 1969 or 70.
Yeah.
And led it for 7 laps, and then I had a clutch failure.
Okay.
But it was an important time. I own that car right now.
Okay, very good.
It's
very
all
good.
restored like this one.
Very good. Well, we're so glad to see you here, and it'll be so much fun seeing you in this car right here. Pat, come on with me. Let's talk about your car, because we've got an interesting car to talk about. Come on with me.
Sure.
Up in front. Let's take a look right at the front of it. This car, first of all, catches your attention. The paint job is unbelievable. And who doesn't love Wonder Bread, let alone the Wonder Bread car? So come on back with me. Let's take an overall look. How long have you had this car?
I've owned it around, I'm going to say between 11, 12 years, something like that. And it came out of Florida, I guess. There was a gentleman down there owning it. I don't recall his name, but I'll tell you. He was driving it on the street. It had lights on it, and front and back and everything. And I think he was driving as every driver. He had a little fan mechanism in there to keep it cool.
He was driving this as an everyday driver?
Well, I don't know every
Well, not
day,
every
but he
day,
was
but-
driving around the streets of Florida. That's the best thing.
Oh.
Which is, if I saw this coming down the street, I wouldn't believe it anyway.
Unbelievable. Well, I guess, who's going to pull it over, right? I mean, it's the
Yeah.
Wonder Bread Special, for God's sake. So come on with me. And one of the things I noticed, even like when we were looking at the side, that the mechanic's seat, is what they call the far one, is deeper than the driver's seat. Is that because the driver's a little shorter? Or?
Well, yeah, in many ways, he was kind of behind the scenes, as you'd say.
Yeah.
So he's back there. He's pushing all the right buttons. He's got the fire extinguisher, the tools, spare spark plugs, all sorts of goodies. But he also has the
Let's take a look
thing
at
where,
those.
where in the certain day, if you look right here, this is your fuel. This is actually your pressure.
Okay.
Your fuel pressure. Now today we have modern, fuel pumps and whatnot. But in the day, that driver would release this thing and literally sit there every lap or two and be pumping up the pressure in there.
Okay.
As of right now, I have it disconnected because we obviously have a modern fuel pump on it to keep it running properly. But in the day, they'd be sitting there. The riding mechanic, his prime job was to keep the pressure up at all times on the fuel.
And this is just amazing. Was this original steering wheel? What is that little emblem in the center there?
That's a St. Christopher. I think he jumped out of his car numerous times. I heard over 100 they jump out, so I think he's already jumped out today once.
Let's take a look at the back of this. Talk about a tail. I think some of the original Pinewood Derby cars look like this, didn't they? I mean, with this pointed rear end like that. Look at that from over the top. Who came up with the Wonder Bread polka dots, I wonder? Because
Well, they're not polka dots.
what are they?
They're 100% Indianapolis balloons. The gentleman who started, I believe his name was Taggart, he started the Wonder Bread factory later on in the teens and
Take a look
20s.
under the hood while you're talking. Go ahead.
And what he did was he came to the early races when they were balloon races. And not only did he come when the balloon races, but later on when actually the balloons were released, and they were red, yellow, and blue, as you see on the car. And he thought that was the greatest wonder he'd ever seen when you're a young boy of his age.
Yeah.
So, hence, as he went on, on in life and ended up forming and starting the Wonder Bread factory, he used the balloons, the releasing of the balloons, to start the Indianapolis 500 as his logo. Hence, Wonder Bread was founded in Indianapolis, and these are not dots. Most people think, oh boy, the dots of Wonder Bread. Well, they're not. They're balloons. They signify the start of the Indianapolis 500.
Great history. Let's take a look under the hood.
Let's here. Come on this side. This is a better side.
All right, I'll look at whatever side you want to show me on your car.
My name's Clark Gable. I'm kidding. Big time. Anyway, there's a little bit better shot of the engine.
Eight-cylinder.
This is an 8-cylinder Duesenberg Model A engine. It was put in 1933. This car actually started out in 31 and 32, and it was sponsored by a gas station called Hoosier Pete, which is also an Indiana company, of course. And they were gas stations back in the day. And anyway, they sponsored in 31 and 32. 33 and 34, they took the engine that they didn't feel was too good for the car. It was a straight 8 Clemens, and they switched it out with a Model A Duesenberg. Hence, it's still in the car today.
Wow.
It's quite a survivor.
Can we start it?
Yeah, we can start it. Oh. Give me a second.
Do we need to do anything to the hood? Should we shut the hood? Okay.
Turn on some gas.
All right.
We got a little bit of a process still, even though.
Yeah.
I drain the gas when I come in. Just pull the gas out of it when you come in. Oh, come on, you. No bugger.
He wants to go. Come on. Starting to kick.
Too much.
That'll make you smile.
That's it.
Let's shut her down.
Woo! Fire and brimstone.
Pat, stay right there. Pat, Wally, both of you guys. Get a little closer there, Wally. Guys, first of all, Wally, thanks for being here today. And Pat, thanks so much for sharing on My Car Story, your car.
Well, we're honored right now. Mr. Dallenbach will be driving this right before the race in the 100th running, right before the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. So I'm honored to have him as my paid driver.
There we go. Guys, thanks for being on My Car Story.
Thank you. Thank you.